Hello, everybody. We are very happy to kick off this event with an amazing leader, Mr. John Collins. Thank you for being with us, John. Thank you for making your time and being available for this virtual event. Welcome.
Thank you, Jose. It is a great pleasure to be here again, talking to you and being present today at the Greater China Great Place to Work ceremony.
We are very happy to have you. A few weeks ago, we were having a CEO talks and we were having such a good time that I thought what you have to share, it has to be to a wider group. And today is that occasion. So thank you again. Let me introduce you guys. Who is John Collins? John Collins is president for Asia Pacific for Stryker. He is responsible for all divisions within the region. In 2016, he started at Stryker in its joint replacement division, where he served in various sales and marketing leadership roles. First as general manager of the United Kingdom, and then progressing to vice president and general manager of Europe. Prior to Stryker, Mr. Collins spent 9 years at Abbott with responsibility for various markets, including Greater China. Mr. Collins also had sales positions in AstraZeneca. Mr. Collins holds a Bachelor of Biology from the University of Birmingham and a Master of Research in Neuroscience from the University of Manchester. So on top of all that, he's getting an amazing organization, Stryker. So it's the mic and the stage is yours, Mr. Collins, please.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you, Great Place to Work, Greater China. I am very humbled to be here today. And the conference theme, Better Together, really spoke to me. What I would like to talk about today is how we are stronger together at Stryker and staying true to our mission in challenging times. If you can go to the next slide, please. What you see here is our mission and values. And today, more and more companies are being evaluated, not only what they deliver, but upon their purpose as well, in terms of what they believe. And what this says, for those of you who, like me, Mandarin is not their second language, this says, together with our customers, we are driven to make healthcare better. So very, very much is in line with the topic that Jose asked me to talk about today, which is about being better together. And really, our mission and values is our true north. It guides every aspect of our business and defines what we do, why we do it every single day. By linking everything back to our mission, we're actually inspired to do more. Our values, integrity, accountability, people, and performance define what we believe. And I think that our mission and values distinguish us from our competitors, from other companies. And we weave them through every decision that we make, every task that we accomplish, and really every relationship that we foster. This passion for our mission begins at the top with our chairman and chief executive officer, Kevin Lobo. He starts every presentation by stating our mission and values and why they matter. And then at every level within the whole organization, we talk about why they matter and we try and bring them to life. And if you go to the next slide, please. What you see here, as well as our mission defining our purpose, we also have a company strategy which tells people where we're going and how we're going to get there. We share the big picture. We share this openly with employees, with customers, and with others. And leaders and employees align their businesses or functional strategy to it. It connects everyone by prioritizing our decision-making process, really with the intent to grow our business and deliver our mission. We execute our strategy from 4 areas. And what you can see here are customer focus, innovation, globalization, and cost transformation. And just to touch on a few of these, we emphasize in globalization markets like China, where there's a significant unmet healthcare need. And yet at the same time, there's a large demand from an increasingly affluent and rapidly aging population. From an innovation perspective, we also listen to our customers to understand their needs and bring them technologies and solutions that serve those needs. For example, in the orthopedic space, surgeons in China, Japan, Korea, India, and across other areas of the world are interested in technologies that help them produce the best outcomes for their patients. And surgeons are now adopting our Mako system, which offers robotic arm-assisted surgeries to address their goals and bring these better outcomes that they want. Underpinning all of this, our foundation to our strategy is quality, along with talent and culture, with a focus on mission-driven and diverse, inclusive teams. And I just want to spend a minute on the inclusive teams piece. People are at the heart of what we do. We believe that by valuing our differences, we're actually stronger, and together we make healthcare better. So going back to better together. Our different perspectives and backgrounds and identities and experiences make us better. And by valuing these differences, we're actually in a better position to serve our customers. So we make every effort to create an inclusive culture and encourage employees to bring their whole selves, their real selves to work each day. And that helps us deliver upon our promise of making healthcare better together with our customers. If you can go to the next slide, please. And I do apologize if there's some background noise. There's a bit of a storm here where I am now all of a sudden. But this slide here talks about how we visualize our mission and connect our employees to the mission. Now, we love to share patient stories, and we share it with our employees by bringing our mission to life. And we do that in various different ways, because our work and its impact on people's lives inspires us and motivates us. And by looking at our mission and making our mission and values personal and human, we really lift them beyond mere words. So we share patient stories, and you see here a photograph of a patient that is actually on our corporate annual review. We share patient stories in meetings, in newsletters, in leadership team meetings, you name it, we talk about our patients. And for example, we actually had a very emotional patient story shared at a recent Japanese sales meeting. There's actually a former professional soccer player in Japan called Tayashi Tsukamoto, and he had, unfortunately, bone cancer. But through his bone cancer, he found he had this in his third year of being a professional soccer player. But very luckily now, he has a Stryker implant in his knee. And with Stryker's implant, I'm glad to say that he was able to complete a full marathon at the Tokyo Marathon just recently, which is just great. So this storytelling has become more important as well, I would say, during this COVID pandemic, because it keeps us connected to each other, but also reinforces what we do and why we do. So that leads me to my next slide, which is really roundabout how do we stay true to our mission in tough times? And obviously tough times at the moment during the COVID-19 pandemic. And speaking of the pandemic, I'd say challenging times test your organization, test your people, and test your values. And Jose, you and I have talked about this before, but I believe that you need to build and nurture your culture so that it elevates you in the good times and you can lean upon it in the bad times. And I believe that having a culture that is approachable, encourages open communication, even a time when everything's virtual, like today, like what we're doing, that is something that's really important. And throughout the pandemic, our CEO communicated with us frequently and kept us up to date with what's going on. Leaders like myself and managers did the same with their teams. And we didn't stop. We didn't stop holding meetings. We didn't stop holding town halls or connecting with each other. If anything, we adapted and communication increased. And through this, I'm really pleased to say that employees felt an intense loyalty to our company, because we cherish the opportunity to interact with customers, and also this personal connection really drives Stryker and our mission. And if you go to the next slide, please. When I think about our mission, it's also about staying true to our mission in good times as well as bad. And I think that as well as having the mission statement, it's also thinking about how we really connect with individuals. And as I say, I think we've found ways to connect to individuals from the top. And you see here an image of Kevin Lobo, all the way through our organization, and really finding ways to train our customers and our employees on our products through virtual training and forums. If you can go to the next slide, please. What also I'd like to explain here about how we stay true to our mission in tough times is thinking about innovation. And as you saw, that was one of the cornerstones for our strategy. And because we have such a strong culture, we could lean on it in the tough times. Bracing for COVID-19, hospitals really grew concerned about the potential for more patients through the hospitals. And we saw that across the whole of the globe. And really, they were worried that they didn't have enough beds on hand to meet the projected demand of patients coming in. So to help solve this challenge for our customers, we raced to develop a new low-cost, limited-release emergency response bed. And you see a picture of it here. This emergency relief bed was designed to serve those on the front lines of the global pandemic, ranging from hospital emergency departments to pop-up areas of care, so all these new build hospitals that we've seen. And what's amazing is that within just 7 days of thinking about the idea, thousands of emergency bed reliefs were built and ready to be delivered across some of the hardest hit locations around the world. And here you see a picture of the manufacturing site, the R&D team, and also in the main picture there, our team in Australia feeling very proud about how they managed to introduce this product into their market to really support their customers. If you can go to the slide, what I'd like to do now is share a couple of examples of how our true character of employees shines through these tough times. And really, it's through their dedication to our mission, their customers and their patients and each other, that we really have developed a culture of resilience. First, in China, we had to be creative in how we supported our customers. And I'd say that our team is now better connected with our customers today than what they were before. We evolved to meet our customers where they needed us, either in person or also at medical congresses. And generally in China, medical congresses are huge. For those who are attending, I'm sure you know this. Over 5,000 people attend some of these congresses. And through virtual technology, we actually found a way to visualize with our surgeons and other customers to do live surgeries. And normally this would be done to a handful of surgeons, and that would be done in a very small environment. But we could do virtual training with over 8,000 surgeons being able to observe Mako system, for example, and the benefits it brings when doing a knee or hip operation, all at the same time, which is quite a phenomenal feat when you think about it. Next, in Korea, I've got a true story about resilience and how our team went from hurdles to heroes. One of our customers in Korea also specializes in joint replacement and spine procedures. He has a great reputation in the market and prides himself on having the highest clinical outcomes. And he learned about our Mako system. This is the robotic arm-assisted system that improves patient outcomes. And so this chief executive of the hospital decided to buy some of these robots for his facilities. Now, this provided us with a great opportunity to bring our technology to this marketplace to help patients and help our customers. However, with the pandemic, we had to overcome numerous obstacles to support the customer's needs. The biggest one being training on the use of this technology. And we're deeply committed to training healthcare professionals on the safe, effective use of our products. Quality is one of the foundations, as you saw in our overall strategy. So we had to think about how do we adapt and do this. Typically, we would send surgeons to a training facility in the United States or in Hong Kong. But because of this pandemic, travel restrictions led to a challenge, both from a surgeon perspective and our employees. But here is the true story of resilience in our culture. Several of our employees from Hong Kong and from Taiwan offered to leave their families at a period of time when the pandemic was gripping them to travel to Korea to conduct trainings and certifications of surgeons in Korea. And this required tremendous personal sacrifice, with them going through quarantine for about 2 weeks in Korea. Then they could train the surgeons and then also have to go into quarantine 2 weeks on the way home. And I just applaud that behavior. It wasn't asked of them. It wasn't demanded of them. This is something that they offered because they believed in our mission and our purpose, which is really humbling. And if you go to the next slide, please, it's not just shown in these stories about what people do. It's also translated in terms of numbers. And here we see the Great Place to Work statistics and quotes reflecting the importance of our mission. And we have an annual engagement survey which tells us how employees feel about the mission and purpose and how our company is performing. And which is really great here, in China, in our commercial operations, 93% said that they believe that their work had a special meaning and it wasn't just a job. And overall, we scored on our trust index about 94%. And you can read here some of the comments from Andy reinforcing how we can be better together. And when you're comparing that, obviously, with the benchmark of a great place to work in China, this is something that we're really proud about. So as I go to my last and final slide, what I'd like to do is, in closing, just give you some key takeaways. I was asked really to talk about how we can be better together. And I certainly feel that our work here at Stryker, the impact it has upon us and inspire us to reinforce this. And I would say that if I was asked, what's the secret to our success around our mission and staying stronger together? It's having a purpose. It's reinforcing the mission from top. It's telling stories about the impact, about what we do, so we bring it to life. It's communicating in meaningful ways, being adapting and figuring out this COVID pandemic and thinking about how we can communicate to each other in a way that resonates not just with our employees, but with our customers. But fundamentally, it comes down to trust in our employees and our teams. And Jose, I told you this before, that I believe in talent, and talent with bold objectives will overcome anything. And you have a culture that you invest in, you can be elevated by it in the good times, but also lean on it in the bad times. And here, I want to say a massive thanks to the Stryker team, who I know are watching today, and Ma Min, Cecilia Zhao, and Greg Holman, who are the leaders of our China businesses. They really have invested in their culture. They've lent in. They've made sure that we supported our customers, our employees through this pandemic. And really, they are a true example and bring our mission and purpose to life at all times. So really, that's all I had to say, Jose. And hopefully that was of use to the audience here today. And I want to give another thank you to Great Place to Work China, Greater China, for allowing me to present today. So thank you.
On the contrary, Mr. John, definitely the way we see these kind of partnerships is actually in that way. We don't like to call our customers, but rather partners. As you were saying, your mission and our mission, building a better society by helping organizations to become great workplaces for all, there's a lot of overlap with what you do. And therefore, and we find this kind of overlap elements with many of the missions of amazing organizations. So when we hear the story that you're telling us, when we hear how you made actionable plans inspired and based on your mission, it helps to illustrate why we keep on saying that that's the way to go. And that's where we like to partner. We like to hear and learn from leaders like you, from organizations like yours. And as I was underlining every now and then, we just acknowledge, we just recognize the good work that you've done, and by using the feedback directly from your colleagues. So no, and on the contrary, definitely thank you for sharing, thank you for accepting. And if you don't mind, probably just really quick going through a couple of questions that I think we have to take advantage of having you. I mean, so if you don't mind, we were thinking about what you were talking and some of the questions that we have here. It's, for example, what was the impact that the pandemic had in your culture? You were talking a lot about your mission and how you reacted, and all these teams. You actually used a few stories about this, but did you feel that your culture had to change, actually had to shift a bit, or you're just running on the same? It's kind of obvious, but if you can share about that, John.
Sure. No, it's a pleasure, Jose. And firstly, what I'd say is I have been so proud of our organization. Obviously, we're trying to make healthcare better. So some of our employees have been on the front line, supporting doctors and nurses also on the front line. I've been incredibly proud of those individuals, but equally, there are people behind the scenes thinking exactly about the question that you just posed today. And I've been incredibly proud of those individuals as well, because challenging times do test the organization, 100%. And this has been the most challenging of times for many, many people. It challenges the organization, it challenges people, it challenges their family lives, their values. So we've had to change the way that we do things. And I'd say this pandemic has shown how resilient we are, how strong our culture is. And today we might work different, we might look different, but actually in some ways we're probably even stronger. And as one example, I think we're more collaborative now. We're more connected to others in other parts of the world. You know, we're talking today. I'm in Singapore. You're in China, and my organization, the head offices are based in the US. But we can bring people from all over parts of the world together to have a conversation, and that actually supports a more diverse and inclusive culture, which delivers the best results for our customers. So actually, some of the learnings from this pandemic, I think we're just understanding today, and some of these best practices will be carried on through the future. And this virtual environment, as an example, makes it easier to include people in customer meetings that may not have been included in the past because of travel. So we get closer to the customer, we get closer to their needs, which allows us to continue to advance our innovation and technology and not be distracted by the pandemic, and focus on what we need to do, which is deliver services and products for the customer. So great question.
No, I totally understand that part. We were talking this morning in the CEO network how challenging it can be to avoid that all the anxiousness, uncertainty, news that are going around, not only on the health part, but on the political side of things. They all affect us one way or another, whether we like it or not. It will impact our system. And despite of that, they have to look at you, at your leaders, at the team leaders, and find that they know where they're going. They know why they are there, what are they doing, and somehow this resonates with the very particular need that we have today to constantly remind our leaders in our team to buy in, to really buy into the mission. So can you share a few of the tricks and special learnings that you have collected across the time, across the different experiences that you have to do that?
Sure. You know, I think we're very fortunate in Stryker in that our senior executives, we're very involved in the development of our mission. And through a series of group and one-on-one discussions, our leaders created a new mission statement, which I shared today. It's been around for several years now, and stays our true north. But when they were developing it, they shared it with many employees at all levels of the organization who provided feedback, because the mission is something that is shaped by the organization. And that gave us a good foundation for everybody to really bought into it. So if you have a mission statement like this, I think it's really important for the most senior leaders in the organization to really believe in it, reinforce it again and again. And I think it's really important for everybody to bring it to life. So the stories I talked about earlier are not only impactful for employees, but they resonate with me. I love hearing these patient stories. I love hearing these employee stories. It really reinforces my purpose in terms of why I'm here every day. And we talk about this, we bring it to life, we share these patient stories with our customers or customer stories. And it's really the constant reinforcement and communication about the mission that I believe is really important, because when you think about an organization like Stryker, there are many individuals doing many different roles. So it's got to be reinforced with everyone, from manufacturing to sales or finance, so that no matter what part of the world that you live in or what role that you do, you know what that statement is, you know what the purpose is, you know what our mission is, and more importantly, they can connect to it, they feel like they're adding to it, and it helps drive their focus as well. So that would be my advice.
Very insightful. Thank you for that. Thank you, John. One last one, probably last one. We've learned that there's a lot of success that depends on some of the practices and policies that you have in your culture. One of them that we've learned during this year that has been quite powerful is to have an inclusive culture. So can you tell us a little bit about how and how far are you doing about having this inclusive culture and how it has influenced the success that you're already achieving?
I think, Jose, that is a really important question. And I really believe an inclusive culture is important on delivering a mission. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is embedded really in every part of our mission and values. And that's why we call it out on our corporate strategy. We are committed to fostering this mission-driven, diverse, inclusive teams. And the reason why is we believe that the strongest teams are diverse. We welcome new, different, innovative ideas that challenge us in terms of the way that we think. And that's really why we make every effort to create an inclusive culture that encourages employees to bring their whole selves to the work. We want to see the real Jose. You know, Stryker wants to see the real John. I want to see the real Ma Min and Cecilia Zhao from China. Because it's all about honesty and trust, and we have to have transparency within the organization, and to do that you need inclusivity. And our chairman and CEO advocates for diversity, equity and inclusion at Stryker and outside of the company, such as his role in the US Industry Association, and as do I. And I really believe that we're bringing together employees to have the right conversations, to be courageous about the conversations around diversity, equity and inclusion. Because it's only by having those open, courageous dialogues that really we can shape our future strategies and actions, because ultimately it comes down to talent and people. And as I mentioned before, if you trust in your organization, if you trust in your talent and give them bold objectives, they can do anything. And really that's what makes me proud about being in Stryker.
Oh, well, yeah. I bet you do. We learned as well that this inclusive policy makes it easier to be innovative. And I believe it's also tied with the fact of being resilient, which is kind of a spin-off of innovation, because you have to be so creative to cope with whatever is coming your way in this particular circumstance. Anyway, I told you, I thought it was the last, but I think there's a very important point here to close the talk today. You've been named a best workplace in Asia. Stryker is one of the best workplaces in Asia. That's something very remarkable. And now in Greater China, later today, we will have our award ceremony, and I'm pretty sure you and your team will be cheering up like crazy for Stryker. What does that mean for your team and for your employees? Is there something outstanding that you want to share about this?
Well, Jose, where do I start? I am so excited that China's being named as a great place to work, and I can't wait to find out the results. And I am thrilled, as you say, to be a partner for the Great Place to Work, because we share so many commonalities in terms of what we're trying to do, and it's really all about our culture and being better together. And I've always known we've had a very special culture, but these awards reinforce that belief for me. We don't have to do these awards, but the employees want to submit themselves to doing this, and it's really it's about them. So we believe in attracting the right people into our organization, maintaining and building employment engagement, developing our employees, you name it. And when people come to work, we want them to come to work and do the best they can, so that they actually enjoy coming to work and deliver great results for the business. So the results of this award are an outcome of our employee feedback, which keeps us focused on making sure that we're supporting talent, we're supporting our culture, and keeps us focused on delivering engagement. So as well as being a celebration and great recognition of our talent, which I'm very proud of, and again, I want to congratulate the Stryker China team, it also allows us to reflect and say, okay, we're being recognized today, but how do we keep on going? How do we keep on making that this is a great place to work? And we can't stop. So it's really our mission to continue to drive excellence and support our talent and culture, to allow people to be the best that they can be. And that allows us to deliver upon our mission, and it delivers upon our values, and that ultimately supports the customers and the patients in what we do. So for me, it's very special, Jose. And again, I feel very humble and very grateful to be able to talk today.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much. You've shared very, very interesting stories, very interesting things that we should keep it for food for thought and probably enact some of them. Thank you very much, John Collins. It was amazing to have you again. I'll probably hear more from you and your team later in the night when we are celebrating the list, right? So keep it up. And my best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you. Great Place to Work. Greater China.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.